gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting episode of Stacker News Live. My name's Kyle. I'm the BFF Keon. Keon, welcome back.
Hello. Welcome back from what? Where did I go?
From your office.
Oh, yeah. I did come out of my office for this.
I haven't seen you all week.
And I
what have you been doing in there?
I think I've been
like
in there the normal amount. I think we've just had fewer encounters.
Whoa.
That's right. Not sexual encounters. Stop.
Do you think somebody will make a territory on Stacker News that'll be like one of those encounters?
Still make a territory?
Do you think they'll make like a territory like on Craigslist? It'll be like personal encounters.
Oh, I hope so.
You think so?
Maybe someday.
Do you think Stacker News will have a dating site?
Why not? Why can't it have a dating site?
That'd be interesting.
How was your week?
It was pretty good. Yeah, a lot of stuff went on. Stacker News. EK almost broke the site. That was interesting to watch.
Did he? What did he do?
Most comment wins.
Oh, why would that break the site?
I don't know. We'll talk about it later.
Okay. What does that have to do with you?
I was hanging out, or no, I hadn't seen him in like 2 days, and I was like, and then all of a sudden I see a post on Saturday. I was just like, what is going on? To see a post from him. It was great. I love it. But it was kind of funny. It really kicked off my weekend. Anyways. But yeah, what have you been up to?
Just the same old stuff I'm normally up to.
How was your week, though?
I feel like it was pretty great. I feel pretty good. Just, normal. I feel normal. Feel typical.
Yeah.
Those are the same. Those words mean the same thing.
You taking any Waymos this week?
I take a Waymo most mornings now.
How do you select a Waymo?
You have to go into your settings and be like, I don't mind getting killed by a robot car.
Oh,
and
wow.
then when you get them, don't rate them well. I think that's one of the things I think might work. It depends on what time you get them to. If you're getting them during rush hour, you're competing with a bunch of people to get them because they're limited quantity.
So I think I've changed my tune on Waymos. You ready for this?
All right.
So I think they are going to replace people drivers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you get one?
Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because I'm realizing now people drivers just don't follow directions.
Directions? What do you mean by directions?
So you know how you use the Uber app or you use even the Lyft app. You'll have like a pickup spot, and they sometimes people just won't go to it. They'll go to where your blue dot is or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like I've noticed, like every single time, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you do. Like, it doesn't matter where you are. You could be in another country. You could be anywhere. The driver will always go to where your blue dot is. They'll never go to where your pickup spot is. But if you choose like a Waymo, or when you get a Waymo, it always goes to your pickup spot.
So that's the one thing that's making you think that human drivers are going to get replaced?
Yeah, that's the one thing.
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
Humans were dangling on a thread, just got replaced by robots because they don't go to the blue dot.
Yeah, I've been hanging out with EK this week, and I think every single time me and EK get an Uber, it does that. Like the other day, we had the Instacart delivery. Poor guy. I mean, I'm never complaining about it because everybody has to make a living, but I'm just like, he was just going to the blue dot. And I was just because the blue dot's always wrong.
Yeah, downtown, you're not really getting a great GPS connection, so it does happen that way.
It's tough, dude. What are you gonna do?
I don't know. I mean, they're usually not too far off. It's like across the street or whatever. I would say 75% of the time I successfully get them to go to my pickup spot by being there and then waving at them.
Do you ever just go to the blue dot?
You can't go to the blue dot because the blue dot moves based on where you are.
Yeah. But if you were the driver, would you go to the blue dot or would you go to the pickup spot?
I'd probably go to the pickup spot.
Yeah.
No, having been a passenger, but I would guess that a lot of drivers are not frequently passengers, so they don't have that experience of being sort of upset that the car doesn't arrive right at your feet.
Yeah. Anyways, you've never seen this crazy show before. It's called Stacker News Live. We cover I like to call it the front page of Bitcoin. Stacker.news. If you've never seen it, go check it out. It's on YouTube. We stream it on Twitter, I think, still. It's streamed on Oster. It should be.
Oh,
if
cool.
Zap.stream is working.
Nice.
Is it streaming on YouTube right now? Oh, no, it's not. Oh, yeah, it is. Cool. There it goes. There's one person watching. Cool. Check it out. Click subscribe. We even have, I noticed too, like this week, the Scoresby post was the number one viewed clip this week.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just noticed that like every single time. I don't know if Wumbo posts the actual Stacker News link, but maybe he should. But it's kind of cool. It shows like who Scoresby is, like all the stuff that he's written, and so it's kind of in a lot of ways like it's kind of spreading the word of like these writers on Stacker News.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
That is cool. I mean, it does seem like every week we have one clip that tends to like really outdo all the others.
Yeah, and it's always original content type of thing. So anyways, check it out if you've never seen it, and hit subscribe. Every week we're getting more subscribers. Cool. We're going to jump into the top 5 stories. We start backwards in reverse. This is going to be I'm not going to say a drag, but this is not going to be a fun episode, Stackers. You're going to hear a lot of crap, a lot of stuff that me and Kiana will probably disagree on. Put on your conspiracy hats, or don't, or just probably tune out to the whole thing. There'll probably be some deep state talk. You'll see Carr on the edge of things. We won't be staying in our lane. So apologies, Vake, in advance. Apologies to our individual stakeholders for our companies. Apologies to all our friends. Apologies to the people we're talking about in advance. Who else should we apologize for? Apologies to this guy. I don't know who this guy is.
Oh, I don't know. He'll probably like what you have to say.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, I'm just gonna keep it real. I can't speak for Keon, but I am gonna keep it real, and I have to.
Don't speak for me because who knows? I might not keep it real.
I am gonna keep it real.
I might keep it unreal.
I'm gonna keep it very real, and I'm gonna keep it real for the Stackers. And it's just a show. These are just my opinions, and don't take it personal. I expect you to keep me in line too as well if I do something that you don't like. So there's that. And you can always skip this episode. Next week, we'll talk about some stuff that's more fun. It is, unfortunately, this is in the top 5, and we're forced to talk about it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
This is an unusual preamble. Don't watch the show this week.
Well, it just sucks because I hate talking about this stupid crap. I'd rather be talking about Bitcoin stuff, like building stuff.
Nothing happens on Bitcoin anymore except this stuff.
I know, that's what sucks. It like sucks that we have to talk about this crap. I'd just rather be talking about like building shit and like the fun stuff, but instead we talk about this crap. But before we get into it, we're going to talk about RoboSats, which is not the stuff that we're talking about. This one's by Siggy, 24 comments, Siggy47, Bitcoin beginner's territory.
This is the top post.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. So we're starting the other way. Oh, snap. Never mind.
The normal.
Tether, SoftBank Group, Jack Mallers, launch 21, Bitcoin territory, April 23rd. J7H875, 29 comments, 3,530 sats. Keo, what's this?
Yeah, both the top 5 and top 4 story are basically the same thing. They relate to the launch of 21, which is the SPAC that Jack Mallers is the CEO of, and the SPAC is. We're not even looking at the stories.
No, I'm moving it over because I have to.
I see.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The entity 21 is backed, I think, by both SoftBank, Tether, and who's the other? Some other group. They basically put into 21 their Bitcoin that they already held, and 21 is going through another public company is going to SPAC, meaning they don't go through like the normal IPO process. They don't have an IPO. It's this kind of thing that Chamath like rugged a bunch of retail on, the SPAC type of vehicle. So you basically have companies that, you know, haven't earned public status being able to trade publicly by some like loopholes. And so that's how they are going public. And they're basically going to do a MicroStrategy like entity, but without the software business. And yeah, it's pretty big news. We have, you know, backed by Tether, meaning they'll have a lot of capital, access to a lot of capital, and connections and all of those kinds of things. So that's, you know, that means they'll probably be pretty competitive with MicroStrategy. Also, Jack Mallers is, I would say, a competing public figure for Bitcoin, at least on, on television and otherwise. Both him and Michael Saylor have similar stature, although I think Mallers keeps it pretty retail level in terms of his Bitcoin analysis. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this, but that's pretty much all I have to say. I think that, you know, they mentioned that in their press release, they mentioned products, but they don't actually have product. I mean, they'll have financial products. They'll have, you know, some lawyers will draft up some papers that allow people to buy things with other papers. And that'll be I believe that's the products. I think they're also planning on doing content around Bitcoin, but it'll be largely like content marketing for Bitcoin that also indirectly probably markets shares of this holding company. Anyway, that's...
So if we read the comments, we'll go to the comments first because Stackers will say everything. The OP, you know, quotes at the closing of business combination, 21 will be majority owned by Tether, co-founder 21 and the world's largest stablecoin issuer, and Bitfinex, significant minority ownership of SoftBank Group Corp. And he goes, not sure how you feel about this, but something about this doesn't seem right. Jack has, from my recollection, been strongly against Tether and the like, so it's very odd seeing him go into business with them. First impression is that it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Curious on everyone's thoughts on this announcement. I guess you jumped. I didn't even realize you jumped in there. Oh, okay. What did you say? I'll let you read your own comment.
Oh, I just said I don't think he's ever been against Tether. I do recall that Strike has been allowing people to send stable coins to each other, and I think in some other countries that don't have access to the U.S. dollar. So I think hasn't ever been against Tether. The other thing is, like, I'm just noticing more and more Bitcoin Tether partnerships than ever before. Before it was, you know, Tether was kind of on the outside. Now it feels like they're fully on the inside, operating from the inside of Bitcoin. And more Bitcoiners are like rah-rahing Tether. And I think part of it is, you know, Tether has a lot of money and they're spending it on Bitcoin stuff and spending on, you know, giving it to Bitcoiners. And so they're naturally going to be inclined towards saying nice things about Tether and doing things with Tether. You know, whether that's good or bad, I'll let other people decide. I'm at least ambivalent about it. I think it's mostly just weird. The other thought I've had about this entity, one of the things that I really don't like about this kind of thing is Tether and SoftBank, they buy Bitcoin with debt, and then when you create an entity like this and you create public shares of it, those are bought with debt. So it's kind of like fractional reserve banking a bit, in the sense that when you put money in a bank, they hold some small reserve of the money and then they lend it out. That gets stored in another bank who holds a small amount, who lends it out. I don't know. It just seems a lot like the normal financial system, which I have, generally negative feelings about. Many Bitcoiners do. Anyway, you can keep reading what you want.
Yeah, then you come in and you say something else. I didn't realize you commented all over this. You said something about MicroStrategy.
So this is it's a lot like MicroStrategy. Even in their I think SEC forms or whatever, they even list comparisons of them to MicroStrategy. But it's exactly like MicroStrategy, but they call it a pure play because it doesn't have the software business at all. And so it's just buying Bitcoin with debt and selling paper representing shares in that company buying Bitcoin with debt to other people who buy it with debt. And it just seems reminiscent of financial engineering, like high leverage financial engineering, which usually goes bad. Maybe Bitcoin fixes it. Maybe having Tether involved fixes it. I don't know.
Yeah, and then so we got Joseph of Nostr says, if you read the whole announcement, the business is not just to buy, but hold and give access to their Bitcoin treasury. They intend to build financial software that uses Bitcoin underneath. And it's a lot of back and forth. The stackers seemed mostly on the right side of history here, at least in my opinion. Darthcoin goes really hard. He goes, nothing to see here, just more fiat maximalism. 0285 prominent stacker says Tether does not compete with Bitcoin. Tether is just dollars, and do dollars really compete with Bitcoin? The OP says kind of. And then you kind of get all that back and forth. I think there's a really good post that Juan, he's been here in Plub Lab for the past month, and he sent over this to me just right before the show. So I'm going to share this because it's not in here. Actually, maybe I'll just drop it in here so that way we can keep it all in here. But I think this guy had a really good thread. So this guy said, so Tether, SoftBank, Cantor, he goes, let's be real. This is a corporate exoskeleton of Tether, blah, blah, blah. It's like giving a cartel diplomatic immunity. SoftBank didn't join for fun. They saw MicroStrategy mid 2000 return. This company is launching $580 million in PIPE funding. $385 million is convertible notes backed by Bitcoin. 3:1 collateral ratio. The moment Bitcoin rips, they release collateral, unlock capital, and buy more recursive BTC compounding inside a public vehicle. This is Sailor with global stablecoin treasury, high frequency derivatives desk, and Tokyo War Chest. They literally measure success in PPS and Bitcoin rate of return, not fiat cash flow, not EBITDA, not shareholder yield, Bitcoin per share. That's the KPI. That's the religion. And here's the kicker. Tether will own majority control. That's like OPEC launching a public ETF, public oil ETF that owns half the oil and pricing it at NAV. And Wall Street's fine with this. Why? Because the fees are good. He says the volatility is tradable and the suckers at home still thinking they're early. This isn't institutional adoption phase anymore. This is the corporatized colonization of the Bitcoin protocol executed through the Cayman shell and priced at your grandfather's or your grandchildren's tears. You're not front-running Wall Street anymore. You're being front-fed the illusion that you are. And the price, you'll watch it go vertical while CNBC blames inflation, seven sovereign ETFs, pretending they understand what just happened. Bitcoin's next leg up won't be demand-driven. It will be capital-structured, engineered, manufactured, monetized. Mega corporations are now turning Bitcoin into the new global collateral standard and selling you the derivative. Welcome to the great absorption. Hope you brought a chart. So it's very like TradFi bro talk that you see on Twitter. It's very like, money, religion, 24/7, lift weights, bro kind of talk. It's very much that talk. It's the kind of talk you saw. In like the ICO boom 2017, 20. That's what it reminds me of. And for me, when I see all this stuff, Keon, I can't just this. I'm gonna go into my long rant here. So just stay with me, stackers. This reminds me of, and I said this earlier this week. This reminds me of the intranet stage of what happened to the internet. It was like we had the internet in the 90s, and then it went through this like corporate stage of like, oh, we need our own intranet, but we don't want to give it like outside access. We want this corporate intranet, and we want it to be like bottlenecked, and we want to have, our human resources things here, but we don't want to allow our employees to get outside access. We don't want to connect to the rest of the internet because it's scary. And like but we're like, you're missing the point. Like you want to have like an outside access to the internet, because then you can go reach out to other places on the internet. And like, no, we just want the intranet. And so it's not in a lot of ways like that, but this whole like the bonds, the ETFs, even this shit, like it all looks like that to me from my perspective. And so that's one aspect to it. The other thing you're just seeing is just straight up like corruption and like straight up like pay for play, straight up just like everybody coming in like sharks and like it's like David Bailey opening up the door for anybody and everybody to come in and swoop in. And Trump's okay with it because he's launching his own shit coins, and you're just seeing everybody's greed and power just coming in all at once. It's kind of sad, bro. Because these are well-respected people in the space. And then the last thing I'll say, and this is where like I think this is where people are just gonna totally not gonna side with me on. I think some things aren't just worth saving. And I think right now we're at a point now with the dollar where it's not worth saving. Like you can't keep putting lipstick on a pig and expect somebody to kiss the thing. Like it's just not going to work. And I think we need to stop lying to ourselves. And like I saw this post on Stacker News the other day, and this is not somebody trying to, this is me not picking on the guy or anything like that, but he was trying to like figure out a way to like save electricity in Puerto Rico or something. And he was like, well, I need to figure out how to save electricity. I need to figure out how to use lightning when there's no electricity. And like, how do I use lightning when there's no electricity? And when I saw that post, I wanted to respond back, but like in a lot of ways, like that's not Bitcoin's problem to fix. Like you need better leadership. You need better electricity. Like you need better municipalities. Like, and that's kind of how I feel about when I see something like the dollar and like the bonds and stuff like that. We need better government. Like we need better leaders. like we need a better form of money. Like this is not Bitcoin's problem to fix. Like Bitcoin's problem is not to make the stock market give better returns. I'm sorry, it's just not its problem to fix. Like, and so when I see this kind of stuff, that's where I'm at with it. It's like one sat is one sat. And Bitcoin just needs to be money. It just needs to be a medium of exchange. It just needs to be fair and be able to reach every person on the globe. And I know I'm just speaking for myself here, but I know that is like a small group of people with that mindset right now. And I know no one agrees with that right now, but that's where I see myself in. And I'm in that bucket now at this point, because all of this, I don't see it. Bitcoin's not going to fix that. Like that is something else. I didn't sign up for all this. Anyways.
Yeah.
And rent.
Yeah. I mean, it does feel weird to me. I'm associating this with like TVP, Trammell Venture Partners. They released like I think a year-end report or like a quarterly report a few weeks ago that I shared on Stacker News. And I was surprised that they showed that there was more investment in Bitcoin startups over the last year than there had been any prior year, I think was what their chart showed. And it was interesting to me because I know a lot of Bitcoin founders who are building Bitcoin products. And it occurred to me that most of those products that are getting funded or were funded over the last year are a lot of these are financial products, are, like repackaging of Bitcoin for like a fiat customer, and not Bitcoin products for people who want to use Bitcoin for anything but number go up. And so, that I think we're just seeing this is what Bitcoin is now. or this is what it will be for a while at least. Not a medium of exchange, a store of value, and paper wrapped several times over. The next story covers this a bit.
Let's go into it now.
I mean, it's the same
one. It's 21 Capital. You can just do things. This is from, how do you pronounce his name again? Den. April 24th, Econ Territory, 25 comments, 2,025 cents.
Yeah, he shares a lot of stuff from Matt Levine, but Matt Levine wrote an article on 21 Capital and his thoughts on it, and just how kind of sort of nonsensical it seems. But it says, it's right here in bold, it says U.S. public equity markets will pay about $2 for $1 worth of Bitcoin. So that's what people are paying. That's like the premium that people are paying for something like.
Where do you see that at?
It's up at the top, at the first quote. Public equity markets will pay about $2 for $1 worth of Bitcoin, and then he does the math on what the value of the shares of this SPAC offering are, and he says you can sell Bitcoin for $93,000, but if you sell it as the stock that this Cantor Equity Partners, this 21 Capital company, you can sell that Bitcoin for $270,000. So like $3 for every $1 of Bitcoin that you own. And just how absurd, just on the face of it is.
That's immoral.
Well, that's the argument that's an argument that I think Jack Mallers and Michael Saylor would get into. And I see Michael Saylor squirm the most when he tries to answer this question. And it's
not an argument. Like, it's just objective truth. It's just truth. Like, they don't even have to defend it. It's just the truth. And so, like, that's just the truth. And so it doesn't matter, like, what they believe or not. It's just the truth. And this is where, like, you just have to own it. I don't need you to, like, stop doing it, but you have to own these things. Like, when you do things that are that are bad, and that like we brought this up last week, but like when you drop bombs on countries and you say this is for freedom, or you do things that are bad you have to own these things. You can't just say, it's for this or it's for that. No, own it. It's okay. God forgives. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
I thought this was interesting because he's at one point in here he also says that that U.S. equity buyers are more interested in Bitcoin wrapped as an equity than Bitcoiners are in the broader crypto market is in Bitcoin, because they're willing to pay more for that paper Bitcoin than people are willing to pay on an exchange for it to hold it themselves. And I found that kind of interesting and pretty damning of I don't know, the way this market works.
It's the type of thing that you see when Katrina was going on, when you had like George Bush, and then there was people that were selling like waters for like $8, $10, $20, and people were like dying on top of their roofs, and they were like trying to get like aid, and like George Bush was out there like, no, you got to pay like $20 for a bottle of water, and all these people were dying. It's kind of like that. And this is the equivalent of that, but like for Bitcoiners trying to like sell Bitcoin to the open markets, and they're like, no, dude, this is just like straight up business. It's like, no, man. It's like, sell it to, like, get it to the hands of the people at these meetups. Get it to the hands of the plebs that are, educating people out there in the space. Like, get it to the hands of the people that are actually doing the work. It's like, no, we're going to get it to the hands of the crypto bros and sell it to them at 5-10 times the cost. That's what that is. And it's okay. You can do that. This is America. It's a free country. Do whatever you want. But somebody has to call it out.
Well, I think a lot of Bitcoiners are calling it out. a lot of them are rah-rahing it too.
You got to own it. Just own it. You got to own it. Own it. That's it. Just
They're never gonna own it.
It's okay.
God
forgives. God forgives.
But they're never gonna own it.
Doesn't matter.
They can't admit they wouldn't do this if they actually thought it was bad.
God forgives.
Well,
anyways,
yeah, I thought it was a pretty great article on the whole thing. It's nice because Matt Levine is like smart, understands this stuff, but views it with a skeptical eye, which is one of my favorite people to read when they're viewing Bitcoin stuff. And yeah.
Anyway, so we got to read the top comments. Top comments is, sometimes when I think we've hit peak clown world, I have to remind myself to actually check the historical records. I'm sure there are lots of examples of crazy stuff going on in the markets in the past too, or at least I'll tell myself that to try and feel better about the present. Lots indeed. Simple Stacker says, maybe they can be the topic of your book, in history of financial tomfoolery. And it's been done. Undisciplined says, they shouldn't be buying up tons of Bitcoin at 93K if they can't sell it at 270. Either that's not quite right, or they're very, very stupid. Dan says, I think they are. That's their financial engineering they're engaged in. No. It's weird too, because it's weird too, because if you remember in 23 when the ETF was coming out, and I haven't looked this up, so somebody fact check me, but I want to say the ETF wasn't going to go through in 23, but wasn't there like a lawsuit or something, and it forced the hand or something? So if anything, like the ETF should have gone through in 24. It should have gone through this year, because it likely would have punched through with Trump's presidency election. And then we would have saw the run-ups this year. So like it prematurely going through last year probably didn't help us. And I think what we're seeing now is just like there's no other way for Bitcoin's price to run up this year unless you do things like this. And this is where like you get hooked to that 4-year kind of like addiction of fiat run up. And the markets just aren't like it. The price is running up now, but once you get addicted to the price running up in dollar terms every 4 years, and you have these kind of other things attached to it, these other investment vehicles, whether they're VC or whether they're other types of stuff attached to it, you start having to make shit happen, for lack of a better word, and it makes things a little sticky, man.
I do wonder, sort of unrelated, but I do wonder how the ETFs view this type of thing. I wonder if they're like, oh crap. I mean, because there are like 9 Bitcoin ETFs or something, and I think like MicroStrategy and this entity are just going to eat their lunch, because they're basically reselling, or they're selling shares in a speculative attack, and the ETF is not that. And people are very attracted to the speculative attack, apparently. So I wonder if a lot of those we're gonna see a lot of those shut down, or how they're viewing it, because I know they spend a bunch of time, energy, money trying to get those things spun up, and now they're just getting bested by these things that are more fiat than them.
Well, you know how this space is. Like it's very like Game of Thrones, right? So like, you know. The whole MicroStrategy guys are probably not playing ball with the other guys, so they're kind of forced to have to make their own type of vehicle here or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it.
I don't know. I think
because are the Tether guys playing ball with the MicroStrategy guys? I don't know if I've ever seen a deal between those two guys before.
I don't think they've had any reason to do a deal. I would guess they talk to each other. I mean, there are only so many people who's, you can only so many people the yacht you can pull up to in your yacht. So I imagine they're all, there's only so many 50,000 seats at a charity dinner.
Maybe you're right.
But I think I would guess.
So you're saying they're also in on this too, maybe?
In on this.
Not in on this, but they're also.
I think this is, on some level, this is what Michael Saylor has been wanting other people to do, because he just wants the Bitcoin price to go up. I don't think, I would guess he's somewhat disappointed that he has a real competitor, and it's not like Apple or Google that's buying it. Instead, it's another speculative attack vehicle.
But that
he's
only
MicroStrategy.
So you're saying that he's not going to be able to buy Bitcoin at that low price anymore, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but he wants the Bitcoin price to go up. But the thing is, if I would guess this decreases MicroStrategy's premium, because people might like Jack Mahler's and Tether's and SoftBank's style of speculative attack more than Michael Saylor. They might enjoy Jack Mahler's as kind of his presentation more, and feel like it is a better, it demands a higher multiple than MicroStrategy does with Michael Saylor, who's very smart about financials. But Jack Mahler's is, like just got off a skateboard to do a CNBC interview. You sound
jealous.
Like, hey, bros, buy Bitcoin.
Hey, you just got off of Waymo to do Stacker News Live, Keon. So
yeah,
think about that.
Unfortunately, I'm definitely not as cool. But I think that's what I would be looking at. That's the real they basically have MicroStrategy's playbook, but now they have Jack Mahler's and Tether and SoftBank backing the whole thing. So from that, it's like more direct competition than the type of competition that I think Michael Saylor would have asked for, which is like, he just wants Bitcoin's price to go up by Apple and Google buying it. But now instead it's like someone is just copying you and probably going to do a better job.
Yeah, Stackers, if you're listening and you're watching this, remember these words. I'm telling you right now, this is all going to blow up. Like, just like 1 sat equals 1 sat. Stop thinking in dollars. Just run a node. Start hodling. This thing is going to crash next 3 to 5 years. Just hold as much Bitcoin as you possibly can. Get through this. Don't cheerlead. Get it into a multi-sig. Stay the fuck away from these people. And like learn to code. I'm telling you. Little crap.
It is.
No, because I'm serious. Like, what's going to happen is once these people get screwed over on the
You're not even on the camera, dude.
He's not on the camera. Once these people don't stop doing that. Stop doing that. They're gonna think I'm trying to start a revolution here. Once these people start, I'll just finish on this. Once these people get screwed over on Wall Street and they're paying these multiples, guess who they're going to blame? They're not going to blame Jack Mahler's. He's going to be on a yacht somewhere in the middle of the ocean. So's Michael Saylor. They're going to come for us. They're going to come for this guy. They're going to come for me. They're going to come for all the Bitcoiners. They're going to blame us. So you just need to be prepared because they're going to 61-2 our ass. And so we just need to be prepared for when they do come for us, blaming Bitcoiners that we screwed them over. And I'm going to be like, no, I didn't. I didn't tell you to go buy this crappy stock or this crappy ETF or this crappy bond. I told you to buy none of that. Go make your sats and just think in this sat world, because in the future, I'm good. But in the future, you need to start thinking in sats, and you can earn them on Stacker.news.
I wonder how many people are going to do this same thing. I mean, Tether and SoftBank are only going to back so many people, but I imagine.
Oh, we're at the end game now, baby. This is the end game.
You think this is it? This is the last one to do it?
Yeah, we're at 3.5 years away, tops. Because this is like Trump's presidency right now is the last of this kind of like free for all. 100%. There is no way that this is the end game. Get it. Like everybody's running to get as much fiat as they can. This is the end game.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're trying to get. I would guess the Tether guys and Mahlers and
everybody's hoarding dollars right now, but they should be hoarding Bitcoin right now.
I don't think they're hoarding dollars though. They're trying to.
Well, the people with dollars are hoarding dollars right now. Is what I'm saying.
Well, I don't really know about that. I'm just wondering if we'll see more speculative attack IPOs and public companies like this before. Like how many of those can the market sustain before it just implodes? Like how many adjustable rate mortgages did the economy have when it blew up in 2008? That's kind of the way I'm thinking about it. This seems similar to me, where it's just like debt on debt on debt, and at some point someone's going to have to pay it, or they don't.
Well, they're just going to pull the pin. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
Who's going to pull the pin?
Somebody's going to pull the pin, and
who can grab a pin?
I don't know, man. Like to me, this all feels very like the guy said. This all feels very engineered. This doesn't feel like. I don't know. There's just feel like this kind of reminds me of like COVID, and how everybody was doing golden parachutes. A lot of people either were passing away, or people were retiring, or people were stepping down. It just kind of feels like that. And then also we also coming up on the first quarter of the century. Like it feels like we're getting ready for the new quarter, and a lot of plans are being laid out. And just from for me personally, like I'm seeing that even in my own like parish, like we're like people are now thinking, cause I personally, like I used to think in like, decades or like, and now I'm thinking in quarter centuries now. If that makes any sense. And I used to not think like that.
Okay.
And I just recently started thinking like that. And I don't know where that came from, but I think it's because I'm hanging out with older people now. So I think that what I'm trying to say is I think these people in power think like that too as well. And I think that's what's going on. And I think that's what's happening is I think we're entering a new regime here. This is kind of like the deep state talk. I think
I see. Okay.
I think we're entering a new regime here. And I think this is where we're headed. And this leads us to our next top story. Bitcoin treasury bonds may help us.
I don't think this is the top story.
Or it was number 3.
No, this wasn't even number 3.
Oh, was
this is like a link to a link.
Oh yeah. So the next top story was Bitcoin Policy Institute possible red flag. This was, from Justin Shocknet, 2 comments, 1,872 cents, Bitcoin territory. So you want to explain this?
Yeah. So I think Justin has a suspicion that some of the Bitcoin Policy Institute might be
connected to the deep state.
Yeah, sort of like I don't know what you would call it, like some kind of intelligence operation is kind of what he's implying. I don't really think that way about things, but I know that kind of stuff does happen, so I don't want to say this isn't that. He shared some things that, kind of loosely associate him, which is the best you can probably do in these situations.
I think Justin's the only person I know that actually looks at this the right way. And so there was a post earlier this week, and there's a lot of weird shit at Bitcoin, man. Especially I would say in the past 2 to 3 years, it's just been becoming more apparent to me. Like there's just a lot of weird handling that's going on in the Bitcoin space, and it's just really spooky. And it's only gotten more spookier over time. And I usually try to stay away from talking about it unless it makes the top 5. But this one's just like so coincidental with everything else that's going on. And so this came out, and I had like a quick little kind of jab. I was like, oh, fiat Bitcoiners always trying to find the next bigger wave. Didn't think much of it. And I said this 1 sat per 1 sat thing, and I've been talking about that on Stacker News. And then Coins Reporter said, well, what do you mean? Is he a shitcoin? And I was like, I don't want to get into this whole thing on Stacker News. It's not worth it. And I just tagged Justin Shocknet because I know Justin will explain. He'll take more brevity to like explain everything. And so he goes into everything. If you want to read, go for it. Like he explains the whole, all that stuff. And so go back into this. He talks about Matthew Pines here, and even Darth Coin says you don't need policy, you don't need a blessing, you don't need permission, you don't need a politician, all this stuff. And Justin explains that, some people watch football or basketball or these other kind of sports stuff. He watched psyops. So this is kind of his sports for him. He likes doing this stuff. And this just kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier is like, these people aren't going to save you. And when I think what Darth is saying, like these people that you're voting to power, Trump, these people that you look up to, these people that you parrot, like these influencers, even us, including us, like you really have to think about what this collapse is going to look like. Cause like I'm telling you, Keon, like post this collapse, man, it's going to be bad. And I wasn't thinking like this. And, we have somebody inside of Club Lab that always talks like this, but like, I really do think it's coming sooner rather than later now. And I think the people around you, the people that you care about, your friends, like those are the people that you're going to have to lean on. Those are the people that are going to be the ones that you're going to lean on. And those are the people that are the most important. And so That's what I would say is like this type of stuff, it's not going to matter. That's what I would say about that. Even if it is a deep state thing, it's not going to matter.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've seen some interest. I've shared quite a bit of content from Bitcoin Policy Institute. I do think they put out some decent content on Bitcoin as it relates to governments, and I think they advocate for pro-Bitcoin things. I haven't been following the bond stuff. I'm kind of checking out of this financialization stuff. I don't have an appetite for it. It's like the thing that I came to Bitcoin for was to get away from this kind of stuff. So, but I understand it's like what everyone is about now. And I guess, people are trying to get, even if it was spook or not, I don't know. That's like a separate conversation, but if people are trying to get the government more involved in Bitcoin stuff. And so there's a number of ways that they're trying to do that. These bit bonds are one way. We have these, public company things. We have the strategic Bitcoin reserve. We have all these kind of new vectors for getting the United States government involved in Bitcoin. And I don't know who. Like I don't know what. I think incentives explain it pretty well why that's happening.
Would you say the government controls the internet?
I think they have more control over it than we would think, because there are parts of the internet infrastructure that aren't as decentralized as you would hope, and it's just the reality of the way it works. There's quite a bit of trust in parts of the internet's architecture that were just convenient and we never removed. But are you suggesting that they might do something to the internet?
No, I'm just saying, like, do you think they control the internet? Like, do you think the government
controls it? How?
Like
I was speaking technically.
Technically, yeah. Like, do you think deep state technically controls the internet?
You mean they're manipulating the internet, or have the ability to manipulate the internet?
Sure.
I don't believe they're actively manipulating the internet. I think that's one of the problems, is it would be obvious.
And then that's where I feel about this stuff. I think that's the best way to explain all this stuff is like, it's not going to matter. I don't think all this stuff is going to matter in like 3 to 5 years, even 10 years out. It's not going to matter because Bitcoin's not going to care that the United States government is trying to control it or trying to do something to it. It's just not going to matter. That's why I think none of this stuff is important in the long term. And I think it's just a lot of waste of time and money and effort, if I'm being completely honest. And that's kind of where I'm trying to get people to realize that, like, we're talking about this now, but it's just not going to matter.
Well, I don't think it doesn't matter. So I think it's a lot like, it's like the argument you're making is a lot like the guy in 1990 who's like, all of the stuff we're doing on AI right now doesn't matter because in 50 years from now we'll have really good AI. So we don't really need to care too much about what we're doing right now. But the reality is we don't get to that point in 50 years without all these failures. And I agree with you that I don't think these things really will succeed in any way that matters relative to Bitcoin.
I think AI is different though, Keon. That's different because that's a technology that. Hang on, let me get my thoughts together. I think that's a different type of technology than like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's more of a protocol that doesn't require humans.
It does require humans.
Well, hang on, let me think. You threw me for a loop here.
The trajectory, my point is that technology has like a trajectory and it tends to get better. And it tends to get better. Once it starts getting better, it gets better faster. And then it gets better faster than that as a result of it getting better. And so, that's kind of the same. That's the comparison that I'm drawing, is that Bitcoin is going to get better because it's technology and there are lots of people working on it trying to make it better. And AI had the same thing where it's like there were periods of time where people were failing a lot with it, trying to get people to understand it, failing to do that. I think Bitcoin is going through.
I think it's a different one than AI, because AI took way longer than Bitcoin. I think more internet's more of a perfect analogy to Bitcoin.
Yeah, but I think for Bitcoin to be a medium exchange, it'll take just as long as AI took to get to where we're regularly using it now.
Maybe. Because I feel like some of the same like arguments that we're having with Bitcoin are the same arguments we had with the internet in the 90s, DMCA, all that kind of crap, all that stuff, and none of it mattered in the end.
I mean, it's all metaphor or analogy. I don't really. Nothing's going to line up perfectly.
Yeah, for sure.
My main point is, I think people taking swings at a variety of approaches to getting Bitcoin to have better adoption, better understanding is just going to happen.
Yeah. I think if anything, it just ruined reputations at that time. Like, and I remember like the Metallica thing. It's like it just ruined Metallica's reputation.
I don't think that I don't know whose reputation this kind of stuff is going.
Oh, I'm not talking about them. I mean, like I was talking about like the internet.
I see.
Yeah. Anyways, we can get into the. Anyway, that's all the drama this week on Stacker.
Yeah, that's all the kind of
Bitcoin
fiat
drama.
engineering stuff.
Yeah, dude. What a crappy week for news. I hate talking about that stuff. Because it's just drama.
It's the only thing that people are really, really interested in, or that seems to be what's popular in Bitcoin. Medium exchanges died.
It's like when the Twitter crap,
yeah,
and the worst of Nostr crap comes over to Snacker News. That's what that's like.
That's what I mean.
It's like the worst of like both. It's like the worst of all worlds. It's like the worst of CNBC, the worst of Twitter, the worst of Nostr, the worst of Bitcoin conference, all collides and then comes to Snacker News, comes on my feed, and I'm forced to talk. And then on top of that, I'm forced to talk about it on my time on Snacker News Live. That's what sucks.
I mean that stuff is big news, and I think it. That was kind of all over the place in Bitcoin this week. It sucks to have to talk about it, but there's not much else going on. CNBC isn't having on, William JB55 to talk about Damas. They're much more interested in this kind of crap.
Anyways, the fourth top story is what is the crappiest crap coin? This is from Elvis Mercury. April 21st, Ask Stacker News. 51 comments, 2,013 cents. Keon.
Yeah, I thought this is a fun little poll. Basically, Elvis asked stackers, which is the shittiest shit coin? So there are many shit coins, but can you rank, do you have the ability to rank them in some way and pick out the shittiest? And looks like in this poll, at least, Ethereum won with 30% of the vote.
Jimmy's song even replied. That's funny.
Yeah, he thinks it's Ethereum as well.
I love Jimmy so much. Damn. Jimmy's the best, dude. Why is Jimmy the best, Keon? Why can't Jimmy just?
I think because he's like actually stacking sass and staying humble.
But why can't more people be like Jimmy's song?
Probably because they weren't in Bitcoin in 2013, and they don't have like a seemingly like a life outside of Bitcoin, like a family and kind of like a moral foundation. I think would be another thing that seems unique to Jimmy.
So he's a developer.
It's interesting to Jimmy. Jimmy hasn't changed as long as I've been following Jimmy.
So he wears a hat. So that's a plus.
I don't think it's the hat though.
You wear a hat.
I do wear a hat, but I don't wear a cowboy hat, and I don't think it gives me special powers. I just don't like my head.
So he's a developer with a moral foundation. He got Bitcoin early. He can be rude sometimes.
Can he be?
Sometimes, yeah. He can be a little rude. But I think most Bitcoiners can.
He stays out of the drama.
I think that's the biggest thing. He stays out of the drama. He doesn't pick sides.
Yeah, he's kind of built up his own his own thing where he's not dependent on getting approval from other people.
Yeah, he I like how he like always just like he doesn't call people out. That's the biggest thing.
He does call.
He doesn't call people out.
Oh, not individual.
He doesn't call individuals out.
Not individual people. Oh no, he does it a little bit with other developers.
Oh, does he?
I mean, I've seen him, Paul Stork and Drive Chains. I've seen him.
Oh yeah, but you got to call people like that out though.
Okay, well, that's calling people out. You said he didn't call people out. You're like, well, they're not really a person.
I'm just kidding. Anyways, yeah, Jimmy said my reasoning given how you phrased the question. ETH is the butt, but which poop coins emerge. In this sense, ETH is the real butt coin. So what is he saying there? He's saying that Ethereum is the...
I think he's implying that if it weren't for Ethereum, these like a lot of these other coins wouldn't even exist.
You got to hand it to Vitalik, though. He did have a really crappy idea that turned out to be a really great idea. If it was, do you think? Wait, no. There was other ideas that did have, because Vitalik wasn't the first one that had this idea, right? To make other.
I don't think so. It just succeeded. It just the marketing that coincided. I think he co-founded the project with some really savvy marketers, and
he had some JP Morgan push behind him.
I don't know about the origin too well, but yeah, it was the first successful poop coin, and then a lot of people seeing a successful poop coin followed suit with their own.
Yeah.
And it's like a poop coin that gives birth to other poop coins.
Yeah.
I've just seen it.
Yeah. Kick said from Reddit 4 years ago, 27 trillion in circulation, unlimited supply cap, only one node, 1% of holders.
Describing
USD.
Yeah.
That would be my vote. Let me just zap it like I made it. Yeah. That's why I'm like, dude, it's not worth saving. Some things you gotta let die, man.
Yeah, I think
it's not worth saving. Look at that. Only one node, Keon. 27 trillion in circulation, unlimited supply cap. 25% minted in the last 6 months, Keon. In a bear market since conception. Why would you want to save that? That's wild. Anyways. And the number one top story this week is RoboSats Guide, Siggy 47. Bitcoin beginners territory, April 22nd, 24 comments, 33,000 sats.
Yes, this was an awesome guide by Siggy about RoboSats. It's very practical and straightforward while being pretty detailed. It basically tells you all that you need to know to be able to use RoboSats effectively, having not used it for the first time or having not used it before. Yeah, I would encourage anyone who's interested in buying Bitcoin P2P to check out this guide and try RoboSats. But he describes a lot of the advanced options that you have, a lot of the advantages of being a maker versus a taker, the disadvantages, like some of the frustrations that you might have. Yeah, just kind of and details it out. And more recently, he's been posting stats. Daily stats on RoboSats, so we should be able to, over time, get a sense of how it's growing or not. I think Siggy at some point in this post comes to the conclusion that part of why RoboSats might have a liquidity problem is that your identity on RoboSats is transient. So you make one transaction on RoboSats as one robot. The next trade you make, you are another robot. So you can't build reputation as like a good trading partner, which doesn't really incentivize people to stick around and build up built up reputation and engage in more trades and really make money from trading on RoboSats. But yeah, still seems to be a productive place to trade some sats.
Yeah. Do it while you still can. Seriously, I'm not even joking around.
I know you're such a doomer today.
No, I'm not. I'm on a whole new kick now, dude.
What's your new kick?
I'm telling you, 3 to 5, baby. Get ready.
3 to 5.
3 to 5.
Years.
How much time we got left?
Okay.
One sat, baby.
3 to 5 years left for what? The United
Collapse.
States collapse of
Dollar.
Oh,
Dollar collapse. 3 to 5
it's always
years.
been 3 to 5 years away.
No, this one feels right.
Okay.
3 to 5 years.
I mean, I feel like every cycle Bitcoiner is called a collapse.
No, this one's feeling like in the bottom of my stomach turns when I think about it more and more and more.
I would say
I'll keep praying. I haven't felt like this since COVID.
Okay.
Like my stomach turns when I think about it. I'll keep praying on it, but
there's certainly a lot more media about the collapse and things and problems going on than ever before.
Well, it's not so much and I wasn't worried about this maybe a month ago. It just started happening here recently.
What changed?
I don't know. I think it's just
China
I've been reflecting a lot since Lent, and just started thinking more, reflecting more, and I've been writing more. I think there's just there's just a new, I don't know. I think it's also one of those things too. Like there was I was listening to a podcast earlier. It was a Christian podcast, and they were talking about like the Pope, because the Pope died this week, and they were talking about how like, and most people don't know this because it's like, you know, you'd have to follow how this stuff works, and most people think it's evil anyway, but that's not how it works. But they set things up in stages, and you know, typically when things are set up in stages, it takes time for things to coalesce, right? Like if you first set up one thing, and usually that's set up with like a doctrine, and then it takes like decades for it to go. And then you set up the next thing, and maybe it'll be like a philosopher, and that philosopher will inspire and will set out these kind of like theology things, and then the next person will come in, and they will focus on one particular form of that philosophy, and the next person will come in, and it'll focus on another point of that philosophy, and then people will disagree because things will be moving too slow, and so what I'm trying to say is like. I think when all this high time preference comes, when you start seeing people move in a high time preference way, that's a signal that that people are forcing things, rapidly. When that happens, things start breaking, and that's kind of what you saw, which that's basically what you were describing. In 2008, you saw a lot of people who were doing these things that were done in a very forceful way, and that's kind of what you're seeing now. It's like it's almost like it's done in a very like it's just done in a very forceful way, and when things are done that way, things start breaking. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, I mean, 2008 relative to now is quite a bit different in that people weren't participating in these scams because there was like high inflation and they were trying to escape losing their savings. It was like almost pure greed. I think now, given inflation, it feels like it's sort of a combination punch where you have the good old-fashioned kind of self-interested greed with like this panic around the world ending in 3 to 5 years, and I need to get my nut before the world ends. And so there's like those two things at the same time. It is it is different in that way.
So that's all taking place now, right? So this is where like, so the calamity to that is like, so this is taking place, right? And then you have people that are on the streets right now and they don't know about this stuff yet. So we're privy to this information because we're 2 stories up, but we're privy to this information because we're
pretty close to the ground.
but we're on the front lines, right? And we're plebs. and so we're seeing a lot of this stuff on the front lines, and we're privy to some information, and some information, people won't know about till like 3 months later. And so when this hits the fan, like in the summer or, later this year, people will start waking up and they'll be like, oh shit, what's going on? And then that's when you'll start seeing people take to the streets, and then you'll start seeing that kind of fallout happen. And that's kind of what I'm trying to say is like, you'll start and then some of it will be manufactured, but some of it won't be manufactured. And that's kind of what I'm trying to say is like that thing will happen. And then that's just when you'll start seeing a systemic collapse from that. And that's why I think that type of behavior can happen for so long, but when it's forced and it's done in front of people that have, we saw it in 2008, we saw it with the riots in 2020. You can't, that can only happen for so long is what I'm trying to say. And that's why that's why I was coming out in the beginning of the episode and I was like, for the record, cars on this side. Cause that's not why I got into Bitcoin for. I'm not trying to screw over people. I'm trying to make sure that I'm dying on a Bitcoin hill. I'm not dying on a USD hill. Does that make sense? Like I was in it for to separate money from state. Like I'm doing it for the revolution. Like I want Bitcoin to win long term. Like I want everybody to be able to operate on this Bitcoin standard. Like I want hybrid Bitcoinization. I'm not trying to save the US dollar. I'm not trying to save any other currency but Bitcoin. I want Bitcoin to be used everywhere. That's what I'm on. And it's okay if everybody else is in this different lane or whatever. That's cool too. You can do these other lanes. That's fine. We should have backup plans just in case mine doesn't work. You can hop over or whatever. But I do think that like these sort of things that we're seeing this week is going to lead to that if that keeps happening is all I'm saying. And that's why that stomach turns in the bottom of my stomach. It's like that's where that's coming from. Does that make sense?
I think so. I said a lot there, but I think it makes sense.
Anyways, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
But I am thinking about it.
I'm not so pessimistic. I think people have always found a way to deal with these things, and I think this is part of hyper Bitcoinization as Bitcoin succeeding in ways you don't like, and finding allies that are not your ally. And
are you going to Bitcoin conference?
I am. I'm going to go to Vegas.
You are? Oh wow! I don't think I'm going to go.
I like going, and I like walking around and looking at stuff, and I like going to the open source stage.
Oh, cool.
Last year I spent most of my time in the hotel room working, but
wait, you went last year?
Yeah, to Nashville. Did you not go?
I thought I went.
I think you did go.
Did I see you
we
there?
Probably didn't see each other very much.
Oh, no, yeah, we had the show. We had the live show.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go this year.
It gets a lot of Bitcoiners together. And a lot of them aren't, maybe the Bitcoiners that you associate with, but they're their own type of Bitcoiner.
All right. Let's jump into the normal stories this week. This is the first one. Is this Meta? I guess it's Meta, right?
Yeah, this is yours, I think. Yeah, Meta.
Well, technically it's yours, but
yeah. Well.
Zine 5 is live. This is Pleb Poet's zine. Apparently she released the number 5 one today. Let's see if it loads. Oh, it did load.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
But this one's the Wizard. What does it say there?
This is the Wizard issue.
The Wizard issue. So the whole issue is about wizards or no?
I mean, that's like kind of the theme.
Oh, I get it.
All of the art and stuff is wizard themed.
So she said vibe code and vulnerability as a service. That's funny. Remember Magic Internet Money, Bitcoin Wizards. join us. That's cool. Oh wow, she even has a TapConf logo on there. That's cool.
Yeah, quite some of the stories we discussed this week are in it. Some of them are from, I think, a majority of them are probably going to be from last week.
Last comment wins made it in there.
Yeah, last comment wins, which we'll be discussing shortly. It's in there, but
what's
yeah,
this right here?
Our 5th issue.
Which past self do you have to say goodbye to? That's
Oh,
weird.
this is by Crypto Sensei.
So is this from this week?
I think this was
April
this is from the 20th.
Oh wow, from this past week. Oh, I guess from last
Yeah, I think. Well, she had to make them
a week ago.
Yeah.
Cool.
She was making this earlier.
Oh, so this is like last week's. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's the way it has to work, more or less, is we're about a week behind.
This is amazing. So if you want it, you can print it out there. It's open source. Or you can get it here on Zap, right? Or on Stacker News.
3,000 sats, including shipping.
Boom, right there. Let the sats flow.
I didn't even bother to price it in dollars.
See, there you go. Keon's already living in this world.
I don't know. I just felt like I accept $100,000 Bitcoin as the exchange rate, roughly.
And then, she said one more piece of zine news. SNZ is now forever printed in beautiful, gorgeous color. Wow. This is really cool. I got to say, I think I'm going to start buying them now. I wasn't sure.
What's up?
I wasn't sure yet, but I'm going to do it after this episode. I'm going to buy all 5 now. I'm going to go back and buy all 5. And then I'm just going to place it right there in the front. Because I wasn't sure. I needed you guys to get the kinks out.
Okay. I mean,
yeah, because at the beginning, you guys didn't look like...
We didn't look like we had it together.
No, I was just unsure what it was going to look like. But now, once I saw the Wizard episode, I was like, okay, this looks like it's going to... this looks like it has legs.
Yeah, she went all out on the Wizard.
Yeah, I feel like this one's like it's finding legs now. So I can get behind it.
Yeah, now we're color printing them too.
That's good.
Yeah, because we couldn't figure out how to do that.
I think this is a really good idea, dude. I actually think this is a good idea.
I don't know if it's a good idea. It's fun.
No. So I saw a post. I don't know where it's at, but somebody posted a comment somewhere on Stacker News.
Oh, unschooled about when they received
was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. He posted a post this week, and he said, "Yo, I just got my my Stacker News zine in the mail." Yep. Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, this one," and he goes, "And it was on my shelf or whatever." And some people came over, and it was a conversation piece, and they were like reading it. Dude, this is the same thing that I used to have as a kid when people used to come over to my house and they would see zines and like CDs and stuff. And they'd be like, "What's that?" And I'd be like, "Oh, that's Alkaline Trio." You remember that, right? Like, "Oh, that's Alkaline Trio." And like, "Oh, what's Alkaline Trio?" And they're like, "Oh, they're like Blink, but they're like goth, you know?" And that's how they that's how they blew up, dude.
Good description. Yeah.
It works. No, but that's how the subcultures blew up, though. These subcultures blew up because of zines and all that stuff. You were a part of the cool crowd if you had these things.
Yeah, I don't imagine the zines are going to do much for growth or anything like that.
You're underestimating cool, man.
But I think they are very cool, and I like them. That's why we're doing them. It's not like a growth strategy or something.
I'm not saying it's a growth strategy. I'm saying you're estimating cool.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely cements us as cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways,
cool factor.
Check that out. And then the other one is Stacker Sports Spot. So, dude, Stacker Sports Territory, turn it up. We got a lot going on this week on Stacker Sports Territory.
Are you working for them now?
I don't work for them.
Sounds like you're doing
I am looking for another pod. No, I'm just kidding. No, what I'm saying is, dude, it's a lot. It's one of those I check out every day because, we have the bracket challenge that's going on.
NBA's still going?
Still going. Let me see if I'm logged in now. Can I log in here? Oh no. All right, I have to log in. Next week I'll log in Stacker so I can see my stuff. But anyways, but we're keeping score. Lakers play tonight. We'll see how I do. But that's going on, and then the draft just happened, and then they're releasing a podcast I think tomorrow, and I want to hear Gray Ruby's and Undisciplined's recap of the draft. So don't disappoint me, guys. But yeah, dude, they do a really good job of covering everything. It basically makes my life easier, so I don't have to watch sports. If I'm being completely honest, because I don't have time to watch sports. But it like recaps sports for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I used to love watching sports. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I do know. I've known lots of people who like watching sports.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. I enjoy watching sports when I watch it.
Yeah. Anyways, check it out. Stacker Sports Pod every week. They do a pre-show meeting. Maybe we should do a pre-show meeting for Stacker News Live. That's kind of cool. Look how more organized they are.
They are more organized than us, but that's why I laughed, because it's like I don't think that's something we're the type of people to do.
Stacker Sports Pod pre-show meeting. Dang, that's awesome. Anyways, really cool stuff, guys. Keep it going. And then then we're getting into your stuff. Zeus, yeah, you want to talk?
Yeah,
about
Zeus is incorporating cashew in, which is all the rage these days. I mean it's pretty interesting. I mean, I almost think people would do this even if it weren't eCash and it were just like a custodial software that you could run on top of your Lightning node that had a public API that people could use. I think this might occur that way, but then you have eCash that has these other properties that are desirable for people. And allows, the Mint operators are, more, their identity is a little more hidden, and so maybe they feel like they're a little safer running a service this way rather than a normal custodial service. But, yeah.
I don't know, dude. I'm just more bearish on eCash than I've ever been after Ben Carmen's LDK.
What does that have to do with?
Well, because last week I'll let you finish, but last week's workshop, like literally, like I was just like, damn, this is where we're at with Lightning. Anyways, but go for it.
It's so this is rather than like the last mile, this is like the first mile of the Zeus wallet experience. It's basically he's adding it sort of like how Mutiny added eCash when Mutiny existed. Was they allowed you to have this custodial wallet, which they're outsourcing to a Mint run by someone. And then as you build up a balance in that custodial, or you build up eCash in that custodial Mint, then you at some point can open a channel with it and then become like a normal sovereign Lightning user and not have the rug pull potential. And so that's kind of their first mile to get you the rest of the way. And it seems I don't think Evan does things that are.
No, dude, I love Evan. I think Evan should build whatever he wants to build. And we talked about when I used to do Thriller. I had him on and we talked about eCash, and I asked him like, would he implement eCash? And at the time he said he's just like, it's too early. There's just not enough. I think he just said there just wasn't enough documentation, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. There just wasn't enough guides, and then he said it was just still too early, but he's open to looking at it. I think that was his answer, and he just wasn't sure yet. And I guess now he's sure, or he had a second look at it. So he was from what that conversation that we had. I'd have to go back and listen to it, but the vibe I always got from him was he was open to listening to understanding it more, but.
Bye, Oliver.
Later, Oliver. He was never like fully against it. But he's a builder. Evan's a builder. He's always just going to build. I mean, that's one thing I've always understood about you guys. It's like some people just want to build, so they're just going to build.
That was kind of my point. Is that I think he thought about this. I don't think it's like he needs to just build something. So he's building something. I think he's actually considered this as something that would help people use his product more successfully. and that's why he added it. I had some questions about it, like how are they doing? How is he picking the mint? Is he defaulting people to a mint? If the customer is selecting it and they're completely new to something like Bitcoin, which is how this is sort of presented, then how are they even like picking a trustworthy mint to begin with? And I think Supratic responded to me that they have like a mint selection tool that links you to reviews about the mint from Noster posts, and that's how they're doing it, which is interesting. And I think there are like several cashew mints. I think there's tens of them now, so it's probably somewhat hard to pick among them. Anyway, I thought it was pretty. As far as developer stuff that's going on, this was one of the bigger things I think that happened this week is Zeus adding a custodial option that they don't where they aren't custodians because they're using a uniform interface for a bunch of custodians.
Yeah, it's bring your own Lightning node if you dare type of wallet. This is the one that we had last weekend. So I don't know if you were here last weekend in Plub Lab, right?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard Ben or not, but he did a workshop on LDK node he works for Spyro now. He also announced that last weekend. But he did a whole workshop on Rust, but he literally did, like, he was sitting in this chair and he literally showed us how to connect to peers, open channels, send and receive sats. He literally set up an LSP and he did it all from scratch using Rust and LDK in under an hour. And that's because Austin was sitting right next to him, and he followed along too as well. I think Austin was using like Replit in like a local host environment or something like that. I don't know. It's above my head. But, dude, I saw him do it, and I was like watching him, asking him questions the whole time. And I was just kind of blown away because I don't remember that being a thing ever before 2 to 3 years ago.
What was ever a thing?
Like, I remember you guys using Polar and like setting up local environments for that, all that stuff. And I remember there just being a lot more to setting up just getting an environment up and running first before you can even do all this stuff. He was using MutinyNet to do all to send testnet coins and everything like that. But to have everything working in under an hour, I was just like shocked. And I was asking him, I was like, so technically, if this was like all on the mainnet, you could go and you could just build a front end now for a wallet. And according to him, he said yes, which kind of was shocking to me because I remember back in the day when we used to do hackathons, we would just all fork Moon or we would do these other types of things. And so I was just kind of blown away where we are now. It's I was telling EK last night, like it's kind of shocking.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't participate in the workshop, but I know there's been a lot of work going into LDK, and now that they have been working on, I think he's working on LDK node, which I think is a little more of a fully packaged node relative to the sort of modular skeleton that LDK normally is. I think we'll see even more people using LDK for things. And what's nice is they're pretty strictly they're like very supportive of the spec process as far as I understand, and they're it's sort of a philanthropic venture as part of Cash App, so they don't have to engage in a lot of capitalism directly, which keeps them very focused on just making Lightning better. Where that's much like Core Lightning does too. They don't really have side quests. It's just keep making Lightning better. That seems to be like the vibe.
Yeah, this is all normal speed, by the way, stackers. This is how Ben goes. Look, he's at normal speed right now. See, look, that's Austin bothering him. He's like, get away, pleb. No, I'm just kidding. That's nice. But yeah, isn't that crazy? Under an hour.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. Anyways. So there's that. If you want to check that out, check it out. It's on the Builders Territory. We're going to do another workshop tomorrow. That's going to be Paul from Harbor, or he's working on Harbor now. So he's going to be using Rust too as well. He's going to build front end, and so we'll do that tomorrow. And then Christopher from Open Age is going to come by. He's going to do an AI workshop. So if anybody's in town, come through. Cool. I want to bring this one up because my friend EK here is trying to blow up Stacker News, apparently. Over the weekend, we were, I was just chilling on Stacker News, was going to church, and I think I was in an Uber, or maybe I was with Juan or something. I was somewhere, and then I was just like, I hadn't seen EK because he was sick or something, and I was like, I haven't seen EK in like, I haven't seen him in like 2 days, or I think I asked you where he was at, and you were like, oh, he's sick, and I was like, oh, cool, and then something happened, and then all of a sudden I see this post, and I was like, apparently he's not sick enough. And this is like most comment wins, and it's like all these has like 3,000 comments, 2,000 comments, and I'm like, what's going on? And so he makes this post that has like 5,000 comments, and Keon, did you see this? What did you think?
I think it's pretty fun. I like experiments like this. I like Ken's experiment, which is last comment wins, and so this is a riff. Feels like a riff on that. Most comment wins, and yeah, I think it's kind of a fun jab at Den, who has been rooting for Stacker News not hitting a high number of items for the year, and has been like charting it out every week and kind of, more or less dancing on Stacker News' grave. And EK's like, no, you don't. Although this is sort of cheating, but I think it's fun. I think Den thinks it's fun. Yeah.
He gets the pot stirring. Like I was telling him, he felt bad. He was telling me that he felt bad about it. I was like, no, it gets the pot stirring. You gotta stir controversy every time.
Yeah, I
think because I feel like Nostr was really good at that in the early days. You remember when Super broke Damus for a couple days, or broke Damus for like a day?
No, I don't remember that.
Well, he did, and it was good. Like you gotta stir the pot. Gotta stir the pot every once in a while. And so this week he did that, and I was like, man, this is like annoying as F, but it was good. So good job, EK. You got anything you want to say?
I have more ideas for posts like this, but I don't want to make another Lord of the Flies post. So stay tuned.
I guess that means he's gonna figure out other ways to break Stacker News. There you go. Did you learn anything from this, EK?
Yeah, that we had a bug in the notifications, which is now fixed. And yeah, it's also, Kian mentioned to me, like it was a stress test, or still is a stress test for the database. Like when the Bitcoin experiment post was created, like we did have slower page loads if someone visited that page, which we fixed. And now this post is like even worse, maybe. Like it.
I think it's 5 times bigger.
Yes, like it reached way more comments way faster. And as far as we can tell, like nothing happened, so that's cool.
Heck yeah.
It looks like OT is now winning now, which I don't know how that's possible. Because Aardvark was winning. But doesn't Aardvark drive an 18-wheeler? How is he doing the most comments?
I think it's quite a bit of, I think it's long shifts when you're a driver. And
So
plus there's probably quite a bit of downtime. You're like waiting for an unload or a load.
So he's just
That's what I imagine anyway.
he's just like commenting. Anyways,
Yeah.
good job. It's good to see stackers get involved. So you haven't sent out the sats yet, I guess? Not over yet. Okay, well, we'll keep an eye out. Cool. And then the next one I want to share was Predator. Did you see the trailer yet, Keon? New Predator.
No, I did not. I have not watched it.
Check this out.
It's like a baby predator.
He's like the protagonist, or she. I don't know if it's a he or she, but it's the same director from the last Predator they made. It kind of looks like it's the same world from Predators, the movie Predators.
Okay, it's like their own world.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, look at him. Apparently, it's like a young predator called Badlands or showed Badlands. But so there is another trailer which I didn't post, but it's an anime that's getting shown before this one, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, they're doing anime everything.
Yeah. Anyways,
Very popular.
me and one of the stackers were talking
Cool.
about it in the
I'll
comments.
definitely watch this probably.
The other one I wanted to share was this post. I made a post on Pleb Lab's blog called Divinity at Scale. It kind of talks about what it's kind of, I was telling you earlier, like I wrote this post at the beginning of the week, and it's just kind of rightly timed, and it's kind of what I've been talking about for like a month now. But just about everything, just about the U.S. dollar and about how I definitely feel. I feel like I was talking to Juan about it was me, EK, and Juan. We went to dinner like maybe a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about how like it just feels like there's just like everybody's trying to like really push the U.S. dollar to various forms everywhere, and it's just like not what I'm seeing everybody inside of the builder community building. Like no one's building that. It's like no one wants to build that. So it's just kind of my thoughts on that and like what I think is actually going on. And so just want to share that with the stackers if they want to read it. Kind of my thoughts of what I think these days, what's actually worth building. Anyways. And that's all we got this week on Stacker News to bring up. Let's jump into the top Cowboys.
Oh, Cowboys, yeah.
Go to number one in hiding.
Yeah. Good old it doesn't look like there's been much change as far as I can tell.
Discipline.
In the
And Discipline's number 3. Has he been number 3 the whole time?
I think so.
1-7's been there. Blushing Boo's been there. Grey Ruby. Coin Through Pitter, yeah. Rothbardian.
EK's
HN.
moved up.
EK's moved up.
Yeah.
OT.
Like a few weeks ago, he was like in 50th place.
Carter. Webster. CJ now. Now it's making a comeback. Kepford. Nunya. I feel like Nunya's making a comeback. I feel like I should be moving up. Boomy. Oh, wow. Boomy's coming back. CLR. I feel like there's a lot of new stackers that are coming back now. I wonder why. Oh, look. Even Carmen's here now. Pleb Poet. I guess I'm not on here. I feel like I've been having a cowboy hat this whole week, though. Where the crap am I?
Probably there somewhere. You just like overlooked yourself.
Damn. Carl Tuckerson? Who's that? Oh, there you go, 45. Okay, I'm still there. It's like...
Not too bad.
I
Not so
feel like
shabby.
having 4 days. It's bull crap. I've been having a cowboy hat You need to recheck this, Keon. Look, I had a cowboy hat every day. And I got a horse. Boom. No shooter, though. How many referrals do I have, though? 20 referrals? That's not bad.
You have 20 referrals?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Who has the most referrals?
You can sort by referrals.
Oh, let's see.
If you go back,
Oh.
then you go stackers by referrals.
Referrals. Boom.
But you want to go probably forever.
Login. Who's login?
That was a bug. But it looks like Ugmug has the most referrals.
You do.
And then after that, it's me.
Kyle of the Corn. Who's Ugmug?
I don't think they're on Stacker News anymore.
Kyle of the Corn. Who's Kyle of the Corn?
I
Who
think that
is
might
this
be
guy?
Corn DeLorean.
Oh.
Stacker News user since 1998. It's hilarious.
One Zian. I feel like I got BitcoinNews.com. Really? Whoa. Wow. They have that many referrals?
They post pretty consistently.
Whoa, dude. Wild Hustle? Dude, what happened to the hustle?
Hustle's still going.
He's still going?
He's
here?
vibe coding a lot more now. And like real coding.
I'm gonna keep going. Okay, so I feel like Hustle. I didn't know Bitcoin News shills the crap out of Stacker News.
I don't think they are. I think they're just.
Well, look, 134 Keon.
Yeah, but you get referrals from just your post. You post on Stacker News, and someone visits your post through like a Google search, or someone else shares it. You get a referral.
Oh, wait. Oh, so you're saying that people are sharing Bitcoin News posts,
They could be.
and that's why they're getting a referral from it.
Yeah.
Oh, so people
Basically,
oh.
every link on Stacker News is a referral link.
So you're okay. So you're saying that Bitcoin News is posting their links directly from Bitcoin News
Yes.
name, and then their content's getting out there.
Yeah, their content is somehow getting out there, and they're earning referrals from it just by
Wow,
their post being on Stacker
dude,
News.
Bitcoin Magazine should be sharing.
That's why That's why there's this bug where notifications and login, because all of those pages are referrals, and at first we misidentified them as users.
Dude, and look, and they stacked 31K. They only spent 18, so they're up. Dude, Bitcoin Magazine should be.
Yeah, if you get a lot of referrals, it's you earn 10% of whoever you refer. You earn their rewards.
So a media company like Bitcoin Magazine should have their own, posting their own links here, because they could earn referrals.
Yeah, but it's only for a big media organization, it doesn't make a dent. But I mean, for Bitcoin,
Bitcoin News.
It's a win-win for Bitcoin News
because they're smaller.
I think so, because they're getting more visibility. They're earning some sats from it.
RSync, rest in peace.
Look how many sats he stacked. That's crazy.
Or she.
Or they.
Or she.
Might be multiple people.
Or she.
Your theory is it's like
Or she.
it was like a Telegram bot.
Or she. And then you got Ben Warman. That feels about right. Who else do we got here? I want to keep going until I see somebody I know personally. Ray Ruby. Oh, that makes sense. Light sets. Fabs. Fabs. Oh, Jimmy Song. Whoa, dude. Interesting. EK. You're shilling? Dang. Agoria? Wow, so he does bring in a lot of people. Oh, look at me. 20. 65. That's not bad. Coob. There you go. Top stackers. Top Cowboys. What else do you want? Let's go to... Let's read the activity on Fountain. Uh-oh. Blockchain Book says, TapConf 7 Stacker News takeover.
That's right.
What is he talking about?
I think he's going to buy. It talks about us buying into like a table at TabConf.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw this. Let me see here.
I just like to hide out at conferences. I don't so much want to. I don't mind setting up a table and putting merch on it or something.
So he wants to do a Stacker News TapConf takeover. What is this idea? Give us as many details as possible. To host a Stacker News hangout spot at the conference, a table booth will be set aside that will be decorated in Stacker News art design. Other stackers will also plan events, contests as it relates to their activities, territories on the site. Dang, dude, he wants to go. Dude, Boog, you're setting this up, bro. Car's not setting that up. Keon, tell him how much work that is.
I don't really know.
It's a lot of work.
Because I've never engaged in it.
It is not easy, Boog. It's a lot of work.
Well, we can film the podcast.
I'll do the podcast part. Like, I'll bring all the equipment and I'll film the podcast, but it's a lot of work. Just that alone is a lot of work. It's not easy. People think all that stuff is easy. It's not.
I don't know. You know, it might be easy for Boog. I feel like Boog is a very active man. So.
Okay, so printouts of the Stacker
woman.
News zine, that's doable. Pleb Poet can do that if she wants to. Stacker News pod's done. Yeah, I can bring the equipment. That's easy. Showcase territories, that's easy to do. Everybody just to bring their own stuff. All this will depend on how many stackers will attend TabConf. I mean, Boog, me, who else? Oh, Austin will be there. You'll be there. EK, are you coming? Oh, he's coming. Who else is coming?
I don't know.
There'll be a few people. I mean, I feel like it just depends if Undisciplined or Great Ruby show up, which I don't know if they will or not. And then it's so early if Real Bitcoin Dog shows up. It could work. If I'm the only one willing to show up, maybe this can turn into a talk presentation. I can explain how the site works. No, we'll be there, Boog. Just you take care of the table, the booth, the decorating.
We could also just meet up, and we don't have to have a booth. Then again, the
No,
whole point might be
get the table booth.
Promote.
Keep getting on Tidwell to give you the table booth. He'll make it happen. Sorry, Tidwell. Yeah. And then why would an attendee gain for this? Attendees will learn about Stacker News and become part of the community, and they can help get onboarded and learn how the power of Lightning can be fun and easy. Yeah, I think so. It's about time. Yeah, I think it should happen. Oh, go ahead, EK.
Do you know how much a table costs, like any of you both?
No. So the way, here, let me properly go here. So the way TabConf works is he doesn't charge, Tidwell doesn't charge for it. Tidwell doesn't charge for TabConf. So it's set up with like hackathon builder days, all that stuff. And then you basically just make it your own. So that's why TabConf works so well. It's like it's for everybody. And you just kind of you gather together and you make it your own, and I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I would say one of the best conferences in Bitcoin. I think its only rival would be Bitcoin Plus.
Yeah. But this is once a year, and he makes it like really special, and
yeah,
he makes us sit through like his long talks at the end, and he forces us to call him King
But he's
Tidwell.
really funny.
He's really funny,
so
that's okay.
That kind of stuff.
But he does. I mean, yeah, he's a really funny guy though. Like, but yeah, he is kind of, yeah. Everybody loves him though. But anyway, I would say, Boog, just get with Tidwell and figure out how to do that, or Brandon, or one of those guys, and then they can, because I think if they give you the table, then at that point, you can figure out how to get Keon can figure out how to do the rest of it, like bring the swag and all that stuff.
I'll definitely bring hats. I usually have a bag for hats.
I'll bring the mics and the equipment. So we'll be good for that. And then, there you go, Boog. So we'll be good. Just take care of the table and the other stuff. All right, let's get back to this. Great Ruby said zap. And then Undisciplined says, Coob may be a sociopath, but he's our sociopath.
I think we're getting into last week.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
You're like, I don't want to be called a sociopath again.
I used to be a sociopath. I moved on.
Do you take that personally? I don't think you're a sociopath.
No, I don't think I'm a sociopath.
I don't think you're a sociopath at all. Between a psychopath and a sociopath? No. What is it?
So you don't know. If I remember correctly, I think one of them is made and one of them is born like this. I think a sociopath is made. And a psychopath is like born. So a psychopath, I think you can like see in their brain that they are a psychopath. And a sociopath is like traumatized. I hope. Are you pulling up a podcast about it? Yeah, I hope I'm right, but it makes sense to me.
So you say, what is the difference between
A psychopath and a sociopath. One is born, one is made. With a S-O-C-I-O.
SOCIO.
You can copy the word from the comment in Fountain.
Path.
Here.
So, pull it up. Jamie says the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath is an area of ongoing debate and research, but here's a brief overview. Wait, a
nature versus nurture.
Wait, what is it?
EK was right.
Wait, what is it though? I don't see the difference. Psychopathy is believed to have a stronger genetic, biological component, is often present from an early childhood. Callous, unemotional, manipulative. Oh. And then sociopathy is more likely to develop due to environmental, such as traumatic upbringing or negative social exhibit more impulsive behavior and active, aggressive. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can see that. So you probably could develop sociopathy from like prison, right?
Possibly. I think it's probably more adolescence, childhood that makes a sociopath. As going to a prison as an adult probably would not turn you into a sociopath.
Have you seen the people in prison?
I don't think Ross came out as a sociopath.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
So I think if you go in as an adult, if you're while you're a child,
Yeah,
perhaps.
But psychopathy is like you're just born without love, probably.
Well, no, they're saying it's more genetic, so it's not really about
the absence
love.
of the absence of.
No, it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with your early childhood.
No, psychopathy is like the absence of what? Just like darkness.
You're just genetically predisposed to not caring about people. Like your brain is in such a way.
There's just neurons not firing.
Yeah, sort of. It's like autism, but for evil.
Ooh, have you met somebody like that ever before?
I don't think so. I think I've met sociopaths before.
You met sociopaths before? Like they do develop in track upbringing.
Yeah, there's lots of I think there are lots of people, everyday people who are sociopaths.
I don't think I've met sociopaths before. I think I've met like people that are just like dangerous to themselves and others, but I wouldn't call them sociopaths. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or is that the same
call
thing?
Them sociopaths.
Is that the same thing?
What?
I don't know. People that are dangerous to themselves and others, would that be a sociopath or no? Or that just be a dangerous person?
It could just be a dangerous person.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I feel like I've met tons of those people, but I've never met a sociopath.
Sociopath is someone who has
a murderer.
That is like something a sociopath would be more likely to do than a normal person.
Yeah.
I think it's more so they don't really care about other people too much. But there's lots of things that can cause someone to not care about people. It's not always a disorder. Like sociopathy is. And so.
Dang, the more you know.
Would be funny if you have a psycho or sociopath watching and they're like, no, it is not like this. It's like this and this would be cool.
Yeah, this is a good post for Stacker News. Stacker News, if you're... No, I'm just kidding. Cool. There you go.
Figured it out. We solved the mystery.
Solved the mystery. Stackers. Oh, yeah. One last thing. Keon, what do you do this weekend?
Oh, I don't think I'm doing anything. I don't have any plans of any sort except the normal stuff that I do. How about you?
Oh, wow. Looks like David just launched, what do you call it? TribeView.
Oh, he did?
Whoa.
thought it was already back already. EK, do you know anything about the
He can't.
change? Or that what happened in this announcement?
What do you mean? Like it's the real announcement? Like I think like a month ago or something, I already posted the link,
Yeah.
but it wasn't ready yet. But I'm not sure what changed. I guess some backend stuff or something. Like I only know what I see there.
Oh, okay.
I
So
have
maybe
no
it already
insider
was
information.
released and they just like re-released it or announced the release again.
Yeah, like made sure everything works.
Hang on. So how does this work, EK?
So I have been playing on Satlantis, which was the name of this before Microsoft took down the Minecraft server. And how it now works is you have ASICs that are virtual, like they are no longer in the Minecraft game buzzing around, but it's just on the Discord server. You interact with a bot, and you can then tell the bot like, "Hey, buy another ASIC." And I think this, or like that's at least how it used to be. But yeah, I am not anymore, but I want to get back into it. But yeah, I think it's now more like you get keys and then you unlock ASICs. Like you do not directly buy them, but you still mine sets, and there's a prize pool and stuff.
Cool. So I could definitely check it out here after the show. But it looks like the game platform that shares profits with players, inspired by Bitcoin. Tribute uses a virtual proof of work system to distribute rewards and enforce integrity. Earn virtual ASICs and virtual jewels by playing competing objectives and trading with other players in the auction house. Cool. Nice.
What are you doing this weekend, Car?
Me and EK are going to go watch Minecraft, actually.
Oh, the movie?
Yeah, we're going to go watch it.
Jack Black's latest
Yeah.
hit.
And then we're going to, tomorrow we got the workshop stuff tomorrow, so we'll do that stuff. It'll be fun. Cool.
Excellent.
Stackers, don't forget, one sat equals one sat. Don't buy, how much were they selling Bitcoin for? Like 300K or something?
Yeah, 270.
Don't buy that
is
Bitcoin.
basically what it's priced
That's
at.
stupid. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Stupidest thing I ever heard. One sat equals one sat.
Maybe that's what, if you tokenize Jack Mallers, that's what he's worth. He's worth more than Bitcoin.
One sat equals one sat. Go out there. All right. Keep
Zap.